I've been in the sport for 10 years. I've had highs, I've had lows. I truly believe that the greatest people in life just don't ever give up. I've been in sports all my life. I've also been an artist all my life. Those are the two things I've always done. My mom kept me very busy. There was a saying in our household, an idle mind is a devil's workshop. So meaning if you're not doing something, you can be led to do unproductive things. At 17, I joined the Air Force. I went out for Special Forces. Made it pretty far, but ended up failing out. The Special Forces was like the first failure as a man, and that was a big moment in my life. You fail as a kid, but your parents are there, it's not a big deal, whatever. To come back and try to beat that, I knew I needed to gain some muscle. I was like 120 pounds. So I started lifting. I gained like 30 pounds very quickly within 6 months. I started training, I started eating, because that was a big thing. I was under eating going through that pipeline. Once the weight started to come on, someone told me to check out bodybuilding. And so went to the local convenience store. I picked up a magazine because magazines were still popular back in 2012, I saw Dexter Jackson on the cover, and at that moment I was like, this is what I want to do. That's when I found it. I competed like 6 months later in April 2013.
How'd that show go?
I got last place, but it motivated me, to be honest with you, yeah. I went into it very cocky. I was humbled a bit, which I think is a good thing. I think it really set my mind on the right path to get better, I would say the actual turning point was me leaving the Air Force altogether to do bodybuilding full time. It wasn't an easy journey, If I would have placed a point like a half an inch different on the map, I would be living a different life, I went from the security of a government job, to living a very unsecured lifestyle, Did coaching, and I didn't make very much money for the first 2 years. I struggled to get by, but I had that dream and the faith that it would pay off, Sounds weird. I mean, you see it a lot with kids today too, man, but like me, I was always confident I could do it. It just was, how the time frame, I grew up, you can do anything is possible if you put your mind to it type of upbringing. And so that was always the goal. Personally, I thought it would take a lot longer. I thought it'd take me another 8-9 years to get a pro card to be on the Olympia stage. And I always feel really blessed that Classic Physique became a division, because it changed a lot of people's lives, obviously mine, yeah. The way Classic was structured was a lot different than how bodybuilding was when you start. So my whole trajectory before Classic was like, oh, you're gonna do 212, you'll be up against guys relatively similar to you. But then you hop into a Classic show, and I got this guy that's 6 foot tall, 100 pounds heavier than me, and I'm like, oh man, how's this gonna go, So I had no idea, I just trusted in my coach, and he's like, let's do it. And the first show I got 3rd place. Breon took first, and I was honestly very happy. I was top 3 in my first pro show. It's good, it's good. I've been competing with Chris, his entire career. I was at his first show as a pro, which I think was my 3rd or 4th one. And I've seen his career, and to be honest, obviously he had his own trials and tribulations, but overall, I think he's a great example of how to get things done and done properly, the first time, Whereas with me, I've had some major hiccups on and off. I've been close to that mountaintop place in 2nd. I've dropped down, quite a bit, and now I'm back on the rise again. And ultimately, I think I want my legacy to be it's never too late to reach your goals if you keep trying and you never give up.
Everyone's saying since Chris is gone, it must lit a fire under you. And I was like, no, that wasn't it. I've always had a fire lit, no matter who's there, because it's always my opinion. Anybody can be beat, and everybody has been beat. That's the biggest thing. No, there's no nobody on that stage that hasn't took at least one loss. So, you know, in my mind, it's anytime is possible. And you know what does they say? Luck is opportunity. Preparation meets opportunity. You know, so you always got to stay prepared, man. You never know.
And then you understand like what the discipline of being former service members is. Like, how much of that discipline made its way into your bodybuilding career? Do you think it had a major impact on it, or?
Yeah, I do. I think it made bodybuilding a lot easier for me than a lot of my peers at the time, and I think it helped me get to where I am a lot quicker than most, you know. Whereas a lot of people have to struggle and learn that discipline over the time while they're bodybuilding. You know, I learned that early on in life, you know, so when I got to bodybuilding, it was easy, you know. If you've ever had the opportunity to go to like a poorer country, like a less fortunate country, and you see the way they live versus the way we live, certain things that we consider problems are not problems to them, you know what I mean? So, you know, I grew up pretty poor, a single family mother household. A lot of hard days for others aren't quite as hard for me. I've been through a lot of life, you know, I'm still young, but once you've been through a few things in life, you realize like nothing is permanent, like no hardship lasts forever. You know, if you could just make it through that storm, you'll see those brighter days. I am vastly afraid of, one, being poor, two, not being at my best on stage, things like that. Like, and I realize like if you don't continue to show up, only more bad things will happen, you know? You know, if you don't go to work, if you don't do your best, you don't do the job required of you, it only gets worse, you know? And I would rather things not get worse, you know? It was funny, the song that I guess made me popular, Survivor, I feel like that's very close to home, where, you know, there's only one other guy still competing that was in Classic that first year it came out. I feel like that's been a lot of my career, is finding ways to adapt and survive and to continue to thrive in the sport. I think that's one of the gifts I've been given in life, is to find ways to make things happen. I think a lot of people, when they're in the position that I am, they become very self-centered, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. You need to look out for yourself first before you look out for others, but typically when they get to this point, like, they just completely forget. And you know, I think there's a responsibility as someone at my level where you kind of have to look out for the future of the sport, you know, whether that is mentoring the younger guys, even though they're your competition. You know, you still want that sport to be better over the, you know, as it grows. Also making the right decisions in every aspect of your life, whether it's being that shining light for the new competitors when it comes to business, or how you conduct yourself out in the real world. I think it's important, you know. I always say that you should leave something better than how you found it. So that's my ultimate goal, you know. I found out something about myself, and I think it's true for a lot of people in general, is like, for me personally to be fulfilled in life, I need to be progressing or doing better in some aspect. Not necessarily like placings and whatnot, that definitely helps, but like in terms of like doing better in business or learning more about myself, growing in some capacity, in some outlet, I think is important. So when it comes to I guess how I want to be perceived by the other athletes and whatnot, just internally, it's not difficult, because if I'm not excelling in life, I just feel bad about myself in general. So I don't think it's pressure at all, because it's something I want to do. It's something like I need to do to be myself, you know. You know, going into this Olympia, you know, everything's all relative. Like I know I'm a popular, you know, athlete, but in terms of like some of the other guys shooting for the title, you know, not the favorite, or not the most popular going into the show. My ultimate goal is like, whether or not they are your favorite athlete, or you identify with them more, I personally believe that like what I'm fighting for this Olympia is like to show people and remind people you can be the underdog and win. You can be a little less popular and win as long as you bring your best. And that if you've ever struggled in life, if you felt like you've had to work 10 times harder than the next guy, that it's still 100% possible to win, to be the best. Yeah.